Hi, I'm Carrie. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm doing a VR to Angel over at Feeding My Soul 1212, and the hashtag she created of, I think it's called hashtag show us your decks. It'll be in the description box or in the title or somewhere below. She has 15 different prompts. I thought this would be really fun to do. They're very unique prompts too, so I like that. And let's go ahead and get started. Enough chatting. Now, prompt number one, a deck you want to use, but for whatever reason, it hasn't seen any playtime on your desk. I knew exactly the deck I was picking for that. And that's in this bag right here. And that is my Rhythm and Soul Tarot. I'm honestly disgusted that this deck has not seen any playtime. And I backed the Kickstarter and I was so excited to have this. I watched the creation of it, but I got it later than it came out later. There was a hang up with the delivery or whatever. And I got it later than expected. And because of that, I was already working with something. I was already involved in something in my practice. And I thought, well, that's okay. I'll get to this at a later time. And I haven't. It has been a year, almost a year, since this has been delivered. And that's kind of one of the reasons I've stepped back from doing Kickstarters or funding Kickstarters, is because I have so much here in my collection that I'm not using. I haven't touched, whether mass market or indie. And it's time to start using what's in my cabinet, basically. So yeah, I'm really upset that this has not seen any playtime from me. I don't know. It's in order. I think I might have done like a little one card reading. I think I put it in order. I was going to do a walkthrough of it. I don't think I ever did that. So it needs more love. It needs more use. My plans are to use it this summer. So we'll see. Prompt number two, the 12th deck from the right on your tarot shelf. I have many tarot shelves as I do a whole series. I have chosen to go with the top shelf of my actual tarot cabinet, and I will insert a picture. And this is the main hub. These are the main decks that I go to, that I pull from all the time. So I'm going to go 12 over from the right, and that deck is right here. This is brand new in my collection, the Galactic Star Tarot. I just said I don't need to be buying any new decks, but oh my gosh, this one I could not pass up. Hay House was running, I want to say 40% off on this. And I knew that I wanted to have this. Really into this like galactic energy, alien type energy. I think it's going to be fun to read with. I can't wait to read with this one. I know this has already been all over TarotTube and people have been loving it. I think it has a great energy to it also. So prompt number three, a deck you are thinking about rehoming. And that is this one right here. I've never rehomed a deck, and I'm not in a hurry to rehome this either. It's just something that I've been thinking about. This is the Myths and Legends Tarot. This, I'm assuming, is an independent deck. I won this in a giveaway. And I don't know too much about this deck, honestly. I don't know how I feel about it. I really don't. It's very dark. The imagery is very dark. The imagery is also kind of pixelated. So some things are difficult to see. I haven't even read with this deck yet. I've just looked through it. I don't really feel a strong connection to it or anything. So I don't know. I don't know. I haven't made my mind up about this. It's not one that I'm really thrilled about. I think I thought it was something different when I entered the giveaway for it. I don't know. I don't know what my deal was. It was months ago, so I don't quite remember. But yeah, I'm going to have to see how I feel about it. And if anybody else has this deck, how do you feel about it? What are you using it for? Inspire me in some way, because I'm really not sure what I want to do with this. So prompt number 4 is a deck you don't store in its original box, and why? I have many, many, many decks I do not store in their original boxes. I've discussed that on here before, because if I stored everything in those Llewellyn boxes, my collection would have to be cut in half. I don't have the space for all those bulky boxes. But this is a smaller deck that I don't store in its box, and the box was really thick. And that is the what's this called? The Aquarian. I'm drawing a blank. The Aquarian Tarot, and it actually fits in one of my smaller bags because the book for it is smaller than those Llewellyn decks, and I appreciate that. So I was able to fit it in one of the smaller zippered bags, which I really like, because then I can fit more of those bags or decks in my collection. I adore everything about this deck. It is one of my favorites. I thought when I first got it, it was cold, standoffish, and that sort, but it has become a fast favorite. It is one that I pull out for no nonsense readings. I feel like this deck has a very masculine feel to it for some reason, and it's really one of my favorites to use. So this is one that is not stored, and this is the newer version with the that thicker Psychic Tarot guidebook. So both of them fit nicely in this little bag. So prompt number 5 is a deck with more or less than 78 cards. So I'm trying to keep this to all tarot. I wanted to really keep this nothing but tarot here. So the one that I chose, it's the only one that I could think of without having to look at every single deck I have, is the Mystical Moments Tarot by Katrin Weiss-Stein. And this one comes with the extra cards that I have pulled out here for the court cards. We've got the King of Pentacles, the King of Swords, the King of Cups, and the King of Wands. And I have all the male kings in my deck. That's what I chose to keep out. And then the other card that is extra is the Emperor card, and I can't remember what my original Emperor looks like now. I preferred this Emperor over this one. I didn't like this one and the fact that he has strings attached to all these characters below him, like almost like he owns them, or they owe him, or he can manipulate them like puppets. I had all kinds of things running through my head with this one. And the imagery sometimes plays a big role in my readings for me. So with this card being like this, I was afraid it was going to constantly send me to the more manipulative side of the Emperor. So that's why I like this one. We have the like, I don't want to say tower, but I guess kind of like the tower here on his head. He's very logical. We have some of these flowers in here. The vast land is behind him. So he's like, ruling over, or has control over a vast area in his life, and that sort of thing. And I like this one. It was a little bit softer, a little bit gentler, where I wouldn't be looking at this maybe manipulative energy every time the Emperor card came out. So these are the extra cards for this deck, and that's the reason that I chose the ones that I'm currently using. So the next prompt, 6, is a deck with a cloud on the box. Do you know how hard that was, considering I don't have a lot of my boxes out and about anymore. So I'm pulling forward this one. Is this a cloud? I'm assuming this is a cloud. But then I thought, wait a minute, is this a tree? What? What is this? But for this purpose, I'm going to say that this is a cloud. This is the tarot of Sweet Twilight. This is another one that is new in my collection. And I believe it's still in order. It is still in order. I picked this one up with one of those deep discount Llewellyn sales that Llewellyn runs all the time. So this is the one. Is that a tree? That's going to bug me now. Someone tell me, is this a tree? I know this card is in the deck. I'm going to have to find it now just to see. This one is so interesting, and I picked it up. It was one I was afraid was going out of print. I never heard it was going out of print, or it might have been mentioned real quickly on one of those posts or something, and I didn't want to miss out on it. So I went ahead and picked this one up, like I said, during one of those sales. I want to see if I can find that card. It's very fantasy, I guess, a little bit to it, a little circusy. I think it would bring a lot to a reading. You can tell I haven't used this yet. So, oh yeah, here it is. I knew that this was here. I'm going to say those are clouds. I'm sticking to my original thing. So yeah, let me know if you have the sweet tarot of the Sweet Twilight, and maybe ways that you use it. It's just another one that is newer and sits in my collection and has not seen the light of day. That's why I said I don't need to buy any more decks because I have plenty that are basically new in my cupboard already. So the next prompt is a deck you've never shown on your channel. I could probably pull out several, but then I did that whole my deck collection thing a year or so ago. But this is one I have never shown on my channel, the Ethereal Visions Tarot, the Luna edition. I just think the Ethereal Visions Tarot is gorgeous, but I liked the Luna edition more. I like the what is that, the silver, it's not, is it gilding? What is that called? Foil. I had to think for a minute. The silver foil on all these cards. This is another one that sees no love. You can see that it is in order, although I've had it for a while. It's the one that I need to use. So I think this is beautiful. This feels very watery to me compared to the more masculine. This feels more feminine. Oh, maybe I should use the Aquarian Tarot against this tarot. Maybe that would be cool, because like I said, that felt very, well, it is like an airy deck, but very masculine in it. And this feels just very watery with that Luna, the moon. And oh, that's something I'll have to think about. So I just think this is gorgeous. Prompt number 8 is a deck with another animal besides the lion in the Strength card. I looked through numerous decks. I thought I knew one that didn't have the lion in it, but I came across the Dream Keepers Tarot, and the Strength card has the boa constrictor for this. I don't know how I feel about the boa constrictor on the Strength card. Is that what they call it in the guidebook? What does she call it in the guidebook? It just calls it a large, powerful snake. But it says, yet it does not bite or constrict her. But it kind of feels like it's constricting the way that it's wrapped around her. And I would have to say, out of all the cards in this deck, which I adore this deck, it's just neglected because of everything else that I currently have and am working with. And it's just, I think, a very powerful deck. It has a lot to say when I use it. But yeah, out of all of these cards, and there's some strange cards in here, I don't really care for this strength card at all. Well, first of all, I have an aversion to snakes, so there's reason number one. But I just think there could have been a different choice for that. So prompt number 9 is a deck that comes in a box inside another box. And I removed the inner box, but that deck is the Zodiac Tarot. And this is by Anna Chavez and Cecilia Latari, I think is how you say the name. It was inside a tuck box inside this box. And that is just too much for me to deal with. So I took it out of its tuck box. I bought this deck for kind of just a study deck for the zodiac signs, and haven't used it much other than that. But man, this deck is so pretty. It is gorgeous, and I really think I am selling it short by not using it more in the full-blown tarot style. So I need to reconsider just keeping this set aside for like a study deck, or looking at the guidebook for things regarding the zodiac, and really pull this out to use it because it is gorgeous. Really, really gorgeous. And like I said, I just feel like I'm selling it short, keeping it set aside for those reasons. So prompt number 10, a deck that would not appear in your top 10 favorites. I knew which deck that was going to be right away. And that is the Dreaming Way Tarot. I know people love this tarot. I've talked about this on my channel before. I don't know if I'm going to take out all the cards. My box, it is so hard to get the cards in and out of my box. I don't know. This deck doesn't do anything for me. I have really great readings with it. I do. It's a solid reader in that sense, but I never want to pull it out and use it. I don't know. I think it had its time and I'm kind of done with it, I think, but I don't want to get rid of it because there are aspects of this deck that I do really like. Maybe it's just the fact that my collection is so big that's why this isn't playing a role for me currently right now. I mean, I've got well over 200 decks. So maybe that's why this just is not anywhere on my radar any longer. But I know people love it. I really know that people love this deck. And I did it one time too. But lately, it's just meh for me. So it would not be on my top 10 for right now. But there's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing against the deck. It's just me. Me and my own... my own likes and dislikes, I guess. Prompt number 11, a deck you associate with the color green. This is another one I knew right away which deck it was going to be, and that is my Forest of Enchantment Tarot. Everything about this deck is green. The backs are green. The guidebook is green. This just screams green for me. The majority of the cards are green. It's the only deck I thought of. The only single one I thought of when I saw this prompt. And I think it's a perfect representation of that color green also. So The next prompt is a secondhand, pre-loved, pre-owned, or thrifted deck. And this is a pre-owned deck that was sent to me by a subscriber that asked me if I would like to have this because they didn't feel that they connected with it in their collection anymore. They knew that it was one that I was wanting to add to my collection, and they so generously sent this to me, and I just think that is lovely and very thoughtful. I've used this deck a little bit, not much, only because I have so big of a collection. I really do love this deck. I love that each of the suits are color coded basically. So we've got the green for the pentacles, we have the red for the swords. I think we have the yellow. What did I say for the pentacles? We have the green for the wands, the yellow for the pentacles, jeez, and the blue for the cups. I really do like that. It makes that easy to see when it's laid out on the table. I just think it's beautiful. I'm not showing all the cards because there is a lot of nudity in this deck, so I'm not going to show those here on this channel. But yeah, this is a very loved, pre-loved deck in my collection. Or pre-owned, I should say. Pre-owned deck, not pre-loved. Well, I guess that could be both, right? Prompt 13, a deck in your collection with the most used guidebook. I had to really think about this because I don't often use guidebooks. I will glance through them. Maybe if it's a really unique deck, I might read through the guidebook to see what the take on the cards are, especially if it describes the description, has a description of the cards and why that artist chose certain things for that card. I will read those kind of guidebooks, but honestly, often I don't go to my guidebooks. So I'm actually going to show two guidebooks. And again, I still don't use guidebooks that often. But the first one is this little Lightseers Tarot. I got the Lightseers when it first came out mass market. So what was that? 2019 is when this came out mass market. And I love this little guidebook. And now there's the larger book, which I did pick that up from Hay House also, where she goes into more things about the cards and stuff. But I really do enjoy Chris Ann's writing. So it was a joy to read through this guidebook when I first got this deck. And this deck was so special to me. It just hit me differently than other decks I had in my collection at the time that I purchased this. So I really did read this guidebook through from end to end. And the other guidebook is more recent. And that is the guidebook that goes with the Biblical Tarot that you purchase separately. There is the little tiny book that comes with it, but this is the larger one that you purchase separately. And when I did a deep dive of this deck with a friend, I loved every single thing about this guidebook. I mean, there's your text right here about the card, but I just enjoy the card meanings, the reverse meanings, and then the little blurb down here at the bottom about the card. And even though this is, you know, linked religiously, of course, to the Bible, the Biblical Tarot, you don't have to take those necessary meanings from it. There are things in here that are just like spiritual or uplifting, or I don't know, they just hit in a different way. And I really do enjoy this guidebook, and I can't wait to dive into their shadow guidebook also. So those are the two guidebooks I would say if I had to pick one. Prompt 14, a deck with water on the box. And I knew which one I was picking right away, and that is the Tarot Landscapes. And I could have picked this as a deck, a box within a box. I love this deck. This deck is so far out of my comfort zone. It's not even funny because there's no people on here, and I really read visually, so I have to really look into these cards to see, you know, what it is trying to show me. And I used this deck to work through the book by Rachel Pollack called A Walk Through the Forest of Souls. I want to say that's the name of the book, or the correct title of the book. I used this deck for every single reading. Whatever reading they did in the book, I did it also using this deck. And the readings just blew me away, and the way this deck spoke through those readings was really beautiful and just feels spiritual. And just in saying that, I'm wondering how this deck would pair up with the biblical tarot. I don't pair tarot and tarot together too often. I prefer my tarot and oracle together, but I'm just curious to what those two decks, how they would read together, because this just felt very spiritual to me. Maybe it was the readings that I was doing with it and why it felt that way. But yeah, this just felt very spiritual to me when I was reading with it. So, and finally, prompt 15, a deck with your most favorite card ever and why. We're back to the Light Seers and this Devil card. And this Devil card isn't just about, oh, you know, I would leave with him, which I've teased about way back, I think year one, when I've talked about the Light Seers on my channel before, that he could be the devil in my life at any point in time. It's more than that. When I got this Light Seers deck and I saw this Devil card, it was like this flood of emotions opened up in me regarding this devil image, regarding the devil energy, period, in the tarot. It was just that this card hit me a different way. I did not like the Devil card. My clients didn't like the Devil card. I didn't like the Devil card. There was just something about this imagery and the card in general that made me face some of those toxic cycles in my life. I don't know why. It just happened that way. And maybe I needed this different style of imagery at that exact moment or point in time of my life to break me open, to expose me and make me see things completely different. And so because of that, this is my most favorite card, I think, ever in any deck, because it brought a different perspective to the devil energy for me. It made me face and explore the devil energy that was happening in my life at that time. It made me have an appreciation, I think, for this devil energy also. And I can tell you, I've probably gifted the Light Seers Tarot to so many different people in my life because of the way I reacted to this card and some of the other cards in the deck too. So this is, I'm going to just say, my most favorite card ever. So a big, huge thank you to Angel for creating this super fun tag to do. I really did enjoy digging through my collection to see what I could find for each one of these prompts. So thanks so much for hanging out with me today. I really appreciate you being here. If you like the video, please give it a thumbs up, share it so others can see it, or subscribe if you haven't already done so. And until I see you next time, bye.